I mean, the coach is always welcome to join us on the Burns Gambo show whenever he'd like.
Talk playoffs, come in on a weekday. Studio's open for you.
But this is our final scheduled installment of the Jonathan Gannon show here on Burns Gambo. Coach, how are you today?
I'm excellent. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, if you miss us and you want to come in, we have a beautiful studio here, TVs everywhere. We free bottled water. Like, it's a good place to be.
Well, I would love it.
Yeah.
As long as it's filtered water, I'd be good.
Yeah, anytime you want to come in, we've got you covered. We can come in like, hey, I want to come in.
I might just pop in with a pizza one day.
Do it. We'll take it.
We'd be so excited by that if you just popped in with a pizza.
How about
that?
I'm in.
We wouldn't even serve you tap water. We would give you quality bottled water and you come right in, whatever you want.
I'll start off with this. I think some congratulations are in order. You won 4 games last year. You won 8 games this year. It's hard to win in the National Football League, and I think we've got to take it with a grain of salt. You guys doubled your win total. How many other teams in the league improved by 4 games or more? Not many. You might be the only one. So I do think that is a step in the right direction, going from 4 wins to 8 wins.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Obviously, I told the team this too. Like, I got to do a better job. We all got to do better jobs. You got to look in the mirror. You got to take the arrow in the forehead, and we all got to improve in our roles because I am disappointed. I wanted to be playing right now.
Yeah.
And we didn't do enough to do that, and that starts with me. So there's kind of 2 ways you can go. You can have all these external factors, and you can listen to narratives, and you can make a bunch of excuses. And I think that just softens the path to grow and learn and get better. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what everyone's going to do here.
Yeah, it is 2 ways to look at the season. You guys were 6-4. You were in first place. You controlled your own destiny. We looked at the schedule and split with Seattle, take care of business against Carolina, New England. You put yourself in a great spot. Instead, you guys struggled down the stretch. You were 2-5 down the stretch. You were 1-5 before the San Francisco game. Kyler had some struggles as well. 5 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He had some really bad interceptions. Seattle, Minnesota, Carolina. Give me your thoughts on what you think happened from 6-4 to where you guys ended up. What happened in the last month and a half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, point blank, we didn't win. We didn't play well enough to win those games. That's kind of what it comes down to. Do you play better than the other team on that given day? And we didn't do that. So that's something that we got to take a look at. How can we play winning football more consistently? Throughout different points of the year. How do we set it up better? How do we practice better? How do we play better? And like I said, I don't take it lightly. Like, it's hard to, bite the bullet of I got to do a better job.
Jonathan Gannon, our guest here on the Burns Gambo show. For you, I'm assuming the offseason started this morning. What did that look like for you in terms of dictating what's next and deciding what's next for the organization, Coach?
Yeah, it was good. I obviously some things I got to work ahead on a little bit, but today was, I talked to the vets today, one-on-one, all of them. And had some good meetings. And then tomorrow I'm going to meet with the first and second year guys. And then tomorrow night, Wednesday morning, the end of this week here, I'm going to look at everything, what we're doing, and try to figure out different ways to improve.
When it comes to, I certainly wouldn't expect you to tell us what you said to Kyler Murray, but I am curious based off of what I read on social media about some of the comments you just made a couple of minutes ago about him having yet to reach his ceiling. What do you think is the ceiling for Kyler Murray, and what do you think he needs to do to get there?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of things. He came in and talked to me, and I got about, 5 note cards for him, only typically a half a note card for a guy. But I'm excited. I'm really excited for him moving forward because I think that we're gonna be a better team around him. I was joking about with him. I said we went through the quarterbacks in the playoffs, and I said, what's the one consistent with all those guys? And he started giving me what he thought in his mind, some consistencies of those guys. And I said, I'll just stop you right there. You know what the common denominator for those guys that we just listed? Good teams. So we got to be a good team. And he obviously fits into that, being our franchise quarterback. So we'll do a good deep dive this off season with him and figure out ways to improve his game and improve the team.
There's a lot of doubts about Kyler. 6 years into his career, he's yet to lead this team to one playoff win. With that being said, is he your starting quarterback for next season?
100%.
Do you feel that you might want to bring in a veteran backup or look in the draft for another quarterback? Would a veteran backup be of any assistance to, I don't know, maybe push him or help him or guide him?
Yeah, I don't know that. I feel good about where Clayton's at. Where I know he didn't get to play a lot in games this year, but I thought his development this year has been really good. And we're always going to do what's best for the team. I mean, that's from top down. But there's no doubt in my mind he can get us to where we want to go.
Jonathan Gannon, our guest here on the Burns Gambo Show for the final time during the 2024 season. Of course, we've had him on every single Monday over the course of this year. Report today about Drew Petzing being requested for an interview for the Chicago Bears. You've gone through this before on the other side as an assistant. Now that you're the head coach, what's your level of preparation when it comes to assistants who might get interviewed, and your level of preparation when the day comes you lose one of your assistants to a head coaching job?
I actually just told the media that's a good question. I'm excited for Drew. He's obviously the people that know, and I think he's going to make a really good head coach in his time. And I think we got multiple guys on our staff that are going to ascend to be head coaches. But from my seat, I try to always live in the present. But the role that I'm in, with knowing that the talent that we have on our staff, I've put a lot of thought into what needs to be done when those guys move on and take over their own team. So feel good about our process, and you just take it day by day and make the correct decisions when you need to.
Is that an interesting part of the deal? Like when you're trying to stay in the present, but you almost have to do it that way, right? Where you're just thinking, okay, I'm hiring this guy today, but if X, Y, Z happens, I have to be prepared for A, B, and C. That's got to be a weird existence for you.
Yeah, it is for me, because that's really not my nature.
Yeah.
But I knew when I took this role, that was one of the things that I knew I had to grow and learn to change a little bit, because I actually fight thinking about the future myself. I think it's the best thing for me to not think about the future.
You fight yourself?
I do, because my mind will go to the future at times. You know what I mean? But I'm just talking about me specifically. But when I became the head coach here, you always have to do what's best for the team. And I would be doing a disservice to the team if I didn't have some plans ready for when guys leave. So I have thought about that. And I feel good if that happens, what we're going to do.
I highly recommend an Everlast heavy bag for the garage.
Really?
Yeah. When you're fighting yourself, when you,
I thought you meant for like a fitness reason. I'm not a boxer.
No, an Everlast. I know you like an Everlast, a little heavy bag in the garage. You hang that bad boy up.
This is a kind of a good discussion, because if you think, like I tell the players this all the time, like, and this is like, I think it's tried and true. Like, and this maybe just me, maybe everybody, I don't know, but I feel like if you think about the past, you get depressed. If you think about the future, you get anxious. And so I always with that premise, I try to stay grounded on what am I doing today, right? And I try to stay in the present. And that's partly what leads into how we kind of do things around here, is very process driven, right? If you're concentrated on a process and not what happened a week ago, or you're not worrying about what's happening, in a month, what's coming down the road, I think you just ultimately do a better job of what you're doing right now,
Yeah.
With saying that, though, I knew that about myself, how I like to operate, selfishly myself. But that would be doing a disservice to this organization if I didn't have plans for that coming up. So, like I said, I feel good about it. I'm excited for Drew, and like I said, I think we got multiple guys on our staff that are going to be head coaches.
I think you could answer this question pretty easily, but you were once in Philadelphia where you had 4 different guys that had 10 sacks or more, and you had a fearsome pass rush. I don't believe the Cardinals. I think Stills led the team with like 4.5 sacks. You didn't have one guy with 5 sacks. How important is it for you and Monty to address that issue and get yourself a premier pass rusher, whether it's in free agency or the draft?
Yeah, I think we got to affect the quarterback better. That's one of the ways that can help us win games. You know what I mean? So, we'll look at any and all avenues to do that, and whether that be through acquisition, whether that be development of players, whether that be coaching a little bit better, whether that be, me doing a better job with those guys, whatever the case may be, everything that affects those guys, we'll look at every avenue possible.
Coach Jonathan Gannon, our guest here on the Burns Gambo Show. You've already been very, very good organizationally at keeping some of the guys you want to keep. Can we expect more of that in the early weeks, months of the offseason? Guys like Kaiser White or others that you want to make sure keep around? How involved are you talking in-house with those guys right now?
Yeah, I mean, Monty and I talk every day about our players, so, I know this. We're going to do everything in our power to keep the players that we have that are good football players. We're going to do everything in our power to keep them.
What would be your message to Marvin Harrison Jr. when you meet with him in the coming days?
What's on the note card?
What's on his note card?
Yeah.
I'd have to look back. Take a break. Okay. He's so in tune to football and his routine, and I love that about him. But he needs a break. He hasn't had a break in a long time. He needs to take a break physically and mentally. And then he's going to have his plan on what he needs to work on to hit his ceiling.
I know it's the season ended disappointing because you were 6-4, but you guys won 6 home games, and this team has had a hard time in recent years winning home games. How do you feel about the way you guys were able to compete at home in front of the home fans?
Good, but we got to win more, and then we got to win more on the road with that stat. I didn't know that stat, but we got to win more on the road to get where we want to get to go. So, but I feel good about it. I really love our building. I love our fans. I think they were excellent this year, and we got to keep giving them something to cheer about. So we'll pack that thing out, and there'll be a lot of excitement around this team, and we're going to win more games.
Coach, we really do appreciate the conversation every single Monday after these games, wins and losses.
He's got a note card on us before he talks to us.
I'm sure he does.
No, I don't. I just right off the cuff with you guys.
Okay. We do appreciate the conversation, win or lose. You always come on and you answer our questions. You stop in with that pizza anytime. We'll have the bottle of water for you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for a good year, man.
You got it. Take care.
Coach.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Jonathan Gannon, our guest here on the Burns Gambo Show.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.